Next on my list, I have Tiffany and Kyle thing. So you guys are going to be on a date.
Aw,
I'm assuming.
finally.
I think the first thing that he's going to do is he's going to take you to a relatively fancy schmancy restaurant. Very good food. It's one of his favorite places. I'm going to say that it is Calosian food, so French food, which is extremely good. And in addition to that, he also has tickets to go see a show,
Aw.
a Pokemon show. So it's not like a contest, but it's more of it's a very popular Pokemon musical, which is, I'm going to say it's their version of Hamilton. So getting the tickets were ridiculously difficult, you can assume. I'm gonna say it's Clamilton, so it's about a clam pearl, Clamilton, and it stars a clam pearl, and it talks about the history of Johto and how Johto was founded, and apparently it involves a clam pearl of Kanto, of Kanto. How Kanto was founded,
Okay.
and somehow involves a clam pearl at some point in history. Um, so. So I guess Kyle will say, hope I hope you haven't seen it yet. I've heard that it's a very popular musical. I actually haven't listened to any of the music, but I heard it's an extremely good show.
Oh, I've heard the music. I've been listening to it on loop while I was doing costumes all week.
That's great. And you'll have very nice conversation during the evening, and Kyle's going to kind of say, so Tiffany, how have you been these last several days, especially leading up to what we have to set out to do soon?
Too busy to think, and it was evolved.
Oh, that's marvelous. Congratulations.
No, he's so cute. Pulls out phone, goes through several pictures, puts phone away.
Wow, he's huge
So big.
and very shiny.
Yes, he is my handsome little Grimer. Not technically little, he can pick me up at this point.
I'm sure you must be very proud.
I am, although I'm still getting used to being ragdolled by him. It's weird.
I know how you are feeling outwardly, but do you have any other concerns going in? Like I said, we're going to try to get you all trained up
I know.
in combat, and
Yes, I know. We've been spending many hours doing that when I'm not sewing. Yes.
I just want to make sure that you're okay.
You're very dear for that.
You seem to have a lot on your mind. You always seem to be thinking of everybody else. I just wanted to make sure that somebody's taking care of you too.
We're gonna get through this. We're gonna come back. I don't know what comes after that. So long as we're together, I don't care. Well, I care because I still want the world ongoing.
And whatever you need me to do, I definitely have all of your backs.
I know.
You especially.
Aw. I should make a joke about that, but you being here is enough. Sometimes it feels like you're the only thing keeping me sane.
I wouldn't let everybody else drive you too crazy. It's been a challenge for me this entire time, and I've only gotten a chance to interact with you on a limited amount compared to you, of course.
Aw.
I know that Chase can be a bit of a handful, or Ian, rather.
Yeah,
I'd like to believe he means well, though.
I'm beginning to see that.
I have a lot of respect for him as well. I don't always agree with him, but I think there's an understanding there. I think you're a little bit more verbal when it comes to, I guess, your disagreements.
Yeah.
Everybody has a role to play. and I think that you have been doing a fantastic job.
I don't feel like it some days, but hey, we're all still together. We haven't run screaming from each other. We took on a Team Rocket base and came out alive.
Yeah, you did. And I couldn't be prouder.
Well, you should have been there, but... Or you should have been involved. Hindsight.
He rubs his forehead a little bit. I got you a little something.
Already done way too much tonight.
Well, I just feel like I've been working a lot lately, and I haven't given you as much attention, so I thought that a little token of something.
You've been working a lot. You have any idea how much time I spend on the armor? I go work my day job, which is somewhere between 5 and 8 hours, and then I'll do another 3 to 8 hours after that, depending on what my day job was.
Well, maybe I can help you relax a little bit after the show.
I'm holding you to that, Lieutenant. Although, sadly, I don't think you got your handcuffs back from the dwarf.
He blushes quite a bit. I've been told that I give relatively good massages, back rubs. I guess you can be the judge of that. He says as he clears his throat. At any rate, here, he takes out a small box and he hands it to you, and it's nicely wrapped with the blue ribbon. Gold wrapping with blue ribbon.
Very carefully unwraps it, takes the ribbon.
I was trying to see if I could find something emerald or in green, but they didn't have anything. I actually got this during our trip in the...
Oh yeah, that place. We'll open the box.
And it appears to be a very beautiful looking blue pendant, which actually matches Kyle's hair.
Aww.
And the pendant looks like this. Now, this is a shellacked. So, if anyone's concerned, it is a shellacked lyrium pendant. Lyrium pendant. And it is said to give the wearer good luck. So once per day, if you're wearing this pendant, you can do each of the following once per day. 1, take the better of 2 rolls, but you must declare this before you make the first roll. 2, turn a critical fail into a critical success. And 3, add 3d6 to a skill roll in which you are pathetic or untrained.
I have many, thank you.
But it cannot be combined with, but that ability cannot be combined with number 1.
Okay.
That cannot be combined with your reroll. So you have 1 of each per day. I hope you like it.
Thank you. It feels like it's way too much.
Well, it's too bad, because if you don't like it, I don't think I can return it. So you might as well keep it, regardless.
Well, I'd love it regardless, because it's from you. I don't care where we're going, what we're doing. I just want to be with you.
I want to be with you too. Let's just forget about all the craziness for one night and enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, let's do that. And she will put the pendant on.
He'll help you with it.
Aw.
He'll help you put the pendant on. You'll have a wonderful dinner. You will have an amazing time watching the Clamilton show. Probably one of the best musicals you've seen. All the Pokémon were fantastic. The music was fantastic. And just because I think this would fit her, I think that Miss Dragonair herself actually makes a guest appearance at one point. Now, at one point during the show, she doesn't like. She probably has like 2 lines, but she's wearing a beautiful costume, this beautiful long gown, flowy gown that makes her look like a Miltok. And she definitely steals the stage during her two lines of dialogue.
Well, obviously.
Obviously. And a lot of people recognize her, so and they give her an applaud.
Well, yes, Tiffany's in on this. Also points out to Kyle, that's my boss. Oh yeah, you've met her.
Yes, I have. I didn't realize that she was part of the show.
You didn't either.
Maybe if we had known that, I would have asked her for some discount tickets, Kyle says under his breath. Then after the show, Kyle will drive you over to your doorstop, and he will take you to the front. He'll give you a kiss, and he says, "Do you want me to give you that back massage now?"
Actually, sorry, Arik, would you mind if we went to his apartment instead? Because Mama Pine and Cassie are at Tiffany's.
That's right. He'll go over to his apartment and he'll say,
I like the mood, damn it.
"Would you like?"
Darn it.
Yes. He will take you back to his apartment, and he will say, "No." He'll ask, "I can probably give you this back massage now if you'd like."
I would love.
You'll go into his apartment, and as you probably would guess, Kyle's a very organized person. His apartment is very clean, very organized. Lots of blue. This guy really likes blue for some reason. He'll offer you a drink. He'll play some music in the background just to relax. And he will give you this really, really amazing back massage. His hands are very, very strong, and it's just right to alleviate a lot of the pressure, like a lot of the knots and the pressure points. And then later that night, I will leave it up to you. What happens later that night? I will leave it up to your imagination.
As far as any estimation of things, there's a furry suit involved and a saddle. So,
Okay.
we talked about this quite a bit.
All right. I'm going to say for the rest of the week, you'll have a plus 2 on all your rolls for the rest of the week. Yes, plus 2 on the rest of the week. That's a good one. So yes, Kyle is very adorable.
Yes, he is.
When you guys are being intimate, let me just say, very adorable. But he seems to be fine in that department. He seems to be doing just fine in that department. Plus 2 points for the week worth of fine. There's gonna be a tap on the window of Molly's apartment.
Bullet will perk up at the sound and go to investigate.
Molly is just dead asleep.
Okay.
Oh no!
She's dead and asleep.
That's the worst kind of asleep.
I guess Fabian and Noir are okay then.
Sacrifice made.
Sacrifice made. Good job,
He
Bullet.
came to claim his price.
Yes. There's a tap on the door. Bullet goes over to the window, and you do see a Murkrow at the window, and the Murkrow is shaking as if it's very frightened about something.
Oh, must have been a black cat. All right. I'm assuming Bullet can open the window somehow.
Yeah.
Cool. He'll do so then.
Hello. Sorry, it's just me. I wasn't sure if it was too late.
No, of course not. Come in.
I just wasn't really sure who to talk to. I've been quite a mess for the last several days, and I don't know. I just feel like I feel very comfortable talking to somebody, a friend.
And he'll scrabble a bit at the window like several times until it finally closes, and then turn around like, well, yeah, of course. What's been bothering you?
I ever since everything in the news about Giratina came up, I just couldn't help but panic. Giratina is a very bad omen, and I just, I don't know. I just fear the worst. I don't want Keith to die or anyone to die, really.
Oh, oh, don't worry. And he'll hold out his wings, offering for her to come closer.
She'll move in, and she's still shuddering and shaking, and you can hear her heart beating very fast. Keith has been trying really hard to get me medication to calm my nerves, but I think it's getting worse.
So by this point, he's hugging her basically with his big old wings, and he'll just like shake his head, still smiling, and say, "Hey, I could teach you something that might make you feel better. It made me feel better."
Oh, any advice would be great. You always seem to be never afraid of anything. You seem to be one of the bravest people that I know.
Oh, well, I mean, that's true right now, and it was for most of my life, actually. But there was this really dark period of my life that lasted like 48 hours or something. And
Oh,
it was tragic,
what happened?
really. I saw this dream where after I told Molly that she got married and congratulated her as is appropriate.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I'll pass that along. But yeah.
I wasn't invited to the wedding.
Oh, no one was. It was a private reception.
Oh, I see.
Hosted by
You must have. Oh, Clefairies. Wow. I heard that they are demon worshippers.
Oh, yeah, they threatened to kill us and stuff. But we got out of it.
Oh.
So, in the end,
Oh.
it was all right. But anyway, back to my 48-hour tragedy. We saw in the vision that both myself and Molly we died. There was a lot of blood, and it was all my fault too. So it was really, really bad.
Bullet, I had no idea. I don't think that possibly could be your fault. You're much too kind and generous and thoughtful and extremely protective.
Well, that's what I thought, but the way that she was dead, I feel like it could only happen if I dropped her from like really super high in the sky, you know?
I don't think that would be possible. You said you saw this as a vision. Oh, visions, I guess, can be a bad omen too, but I don't know. This sounds a little unlikely.
You think it's more unlikely than Giratina killing your trainer?
That's a good point. I don't know, Bullet. I don't know. Oh, what should I do to make myself calm down?
What you should do is realize that if you don't want to die, all you have to do really is not die.
Really?
Yeah.
It's just that easy?
Well, I haven't died yet, have I? And I not once have wanted to die.
You know what? That's a very good point.
I know.
I never thought about that. Oh, Bullet, you really are the smartest Pokemon around.
Ah, shucks. I mean, I'm the group leader for a reason.
Oh, well then, if you think that it's that easy, then I believe it's that easy too. I will just choose to make sure that I don't die, and Keith can choose as well.
Perfect.
To not die.
Yeah, no, you gotta let him know though, because if he doesn't know, then he might die. So just be careful.
That's true.
You feel better?
You do, out of character, notice that the shaking has subsided a lot, considerably, and she says, "Yes, I'm feeling a whole lot better. Thank you, Bullet. I didn't realize that people like you ever got scared."
No, I mean, even the coolest and bravest of Pokemon get scared sometimes.
I know that I have these thoughts in my head that don't always make sense, and they're not the most logical things. I just can't help it though sometimes. I mean, why tempt fate? If they say that something is bad luck or good luck, why who am I to question things? You probably think I'm very silly.
No, no.
It's,
But I think that if you're worried about something, if you don't want to tempt fate, then don't tempt fate. But at the same time, don't let it ruin your whole day, you know?
I think that's the part that makes things. That's the challenge. Sometimes it does take up a good chunk of my day worrying about things. But I will try. I will try.
And if you ever need to, unpack some more things, you're always free to come over here and talk. As long as I'm not working. I'm a busy Pokemon.
Bullet, can I ask you a question?
You already did.
Can I ask you a third question after this one?
See, now you're a smart one. Of course, go ahead.
Do you like me?
Okay, well, that's a silly question. Of course I like you.
Oh well that's good because I like you too.
Oh, good. That would have been weird if you came over here because you didn't like me.
Well. No, I mean I come here because I think about you all the time and you are a very well physically attractive, you know, Pokemon and I mean I know I'm not really much to look at. Murkrows aren't known to be the most beautiful of bird Pokemon, but I just wasn't sure because I really liked you and I like spending time with you and every time I talk to you, it make me feel good about myself.
Really?
So, oh yes, um, so I didn't know if you thought you felt the same way.
Well, of course. And I don't know what you're talking about. I think that you're a really pretty bird.
Oh, well, thank you. Um, so does this mean we're boyfriend and girlfriend?
At that, he'll tense slightly and then pause for a few seconds, and then say, "Um, well, I don't know. I've never done that before.
Oh,
Is that? I
it
mean, does it mean that we're?
well, it doesn't mean we have to do anything. Before I was with Keith, that's sort of what my trainer before me wanted me to do all the time, and
To be boyfriend girlfriend?
no, Bullet. They wanted me to breed in the daycares.
He slowly nods.
And it's the people they put in the daycare are nice and everything, but it it was very uncomfortable. Because they expect things from you and they get upset when things don't happen. Um, to be perfectly honest, normally the other Pokemon is just as awkward as well. It wasn't a very happy time for me.
I'm sorry to hear that. I had no idea.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't want to do anything that makes you uncomfortable because I would never want to hurt you or anything. I would never want you to do something that you didn't want to do.
Of course, no, yeah.
So I just want to, spend time with you and if that's all you want to do too, then that's fine with me.
I mean, yeah, I've never breeded before, so that would, um, yeah, we should just do the hanging out and talking thing for a while. I think I'd really like that actually.
I think I would like that too.
So, girlfriend?
Boyfriend.
Okay, we did it. He'll hold up a wing for a high five.
She'll chuckle a bit. She'll give you a high five, but then she'll come in for a hug.
Okay. And he will hug her in return.
Yay!
Hey.
Look, Molly, I have a black friend.
I hope she doesn't mind. Yeah,
hope you don't
Kumon
mind,
missed out on
Molly.
the whole thing.
I hope you're open to that, Molly. I mean,
Maybe while they're hugging or something, Molly's gonna wake up briefly and kind of very sleepily open one eye and say, you kids have fun." She rolls back over.
okay,
Yay.
cool. Well, that was cute. That's very
Adorable.
cute.
Yay, progress
So
was made.
adorable. It got a little dark near the end, but
yeah.
again, if you think about Pokemon daycares,
Yeah.
it's a pretty dark concept. Pokemon daycares are pretty dark.
They're
Yes, they
basically
are.
puppy mills.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're basically puppy mills. I mean,
Which is-
don't, those old ladies and old men, like those grannies and grandpas that run the daycare center, you know.
Iffy.
What are you gonna say, Ella?
And Phillips recently learnt about daycares, like in the computer world. And did he know about them beforehand?
I don't think he would have. I don't think
know.
Molly had any reason to tell him about.
I mean, I think the computer, yeah, the digital world was where he learned like kind of everything on that front. The conversations that they had.
So that's interesting that this conversation took place after that, so he could like understand more.
Yeah, so it actually did mean something to him at that point.
Also, real quick, did Chase ever open his little drawstring pouch, which was red with a whiteboard?
Yes, he would have.
Okay, Ian now has a focus band, and it has the Guile Fashionista bonus added to it. The Fashionista band is made out of black suede, and the middle strip is done in gray cashmere, and the bottom strip is in red embroidered.
And what is
It
that
looks like a
bonus?
flame pattern.
What's that guile thing you said? Does
For
that
Guile,
fashionista guile? What does that mean?
once per scene is a free action. When provoking attack of opportunity, you do not provoke one if you choose to.
Ah, cool.
Yes. Useful.
Mhm.
Also, there's a small note going, armor to follow. You are my pretty shield.
I need to forge some IDs. Would be what Chase wants to do because he wants to go see somebody, but he wants to be prepared.
All right. So you're going to an actual. Who are you going to get these IDs?
I'm gonna make them with the supplies I've been picking up from Kinko's and just trying to look at
Okay.
other people's IDs and whatnot just to get.
So I believe that would be a guile roll.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, make a guile roll.
22.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna say you make some very convincing IDs. Sure.
Sweet. So I'll save that for a scene. I would like to eventually do a scene where I go look for Lobell.
Do you want to do it this the second week?
Yes, I would prefer to do it the second week. Also, caveat: there were probably 2 nights there where there was no Dream World sequence again in a row before crashing the third night, and then he's probably going to do that again. So this is the third. This is the second week, but the third rotation of this pattern.
Okay, got it.
So he's got some information he wants to look up. He's got the card as well, but he remembers something Madame Vu said about when he asked her what is 797. I'm kind of going off character here, out of character here, because did she say that it was the number of an office in some building, or am I making that up? Like I legitimately, I'm blanking on.
I think she's referring to that was the number in your dream that you believe you had.
Okay.
I don't know if she necessarily said it's the number of an actual office of significance. I don't think she said that.
Okay, so if we don't remember for sure, then let's not go on that. Let's go with the he's got the Lobell's card. So he would have written that address down for his office, and he will go to the office building, which he assumes. Yeah. Is somewhere
Lobell's
downtown.
office.
Mhm.
Yeah. Sure.
Is Lux bald or is he out?
Lux will be, if we're going to Lobell's office, I'm going to stay in the ball.
Okay.
And I think
For now.
Lobell's office is in Cerulean. Is that my understanding?
I think so, unless you want it somewhere else.
I think it's fine having it be in Cerulean City.
Okay.
That's fine. It probably makes more sense for it to be in town. So, sure, you go to Cerulean City with Lux to Lobell's office. I'm assuming this is in the middle of the day.
Yep.
There's going to be a secretary at the front desk saying, "Hello, may I help you?"
I'm here to see Lobell. I had an appointment. I sort of missed it. I would like to talk to him real quick.
You had an appointment? What was your name?
My name is Ian. Imfe?
I don't see your name on any of our recent...
Oh yeah, no. We talked at his house. He sort of said I had to come by and pick up some paperwork. He sort of left the date open, but I just assumed, I'm ready for the paper.
Oh, I see. Let me, hold on one moment. She picks up the phone and she waits for a moment and then she says, "Yes, sir, I have a Mr. Ian Imfe who said that he had a previous appointment with you and needed to reschedule." Okay. He says that he can see you, and she will escort you over to his office. And you're going to notice again that as organized as Kyle is, this gentleman takes it to the next level. So his office is extremely, extremely put together and very well organized, down to the minute detail. And you actually hear some relatively soft classical music playing in the background. And go ahead.
I was going to say, and to describe Chase right now, he's actually not wearing his hoodie. He's not wearing his track pants. He is not wearing any of the clothes he normally wears. What he's picked up on his way here was an actual suit. He's got a suit and he's got a white shirt with a red tie.
Good, because I just pictured you walking in your underwear. So he's not
That's
wearing...
for later, no.
Okay.
No.
Sure, the secretary would have enjoyed that. Okay. So you actually have a suit. Nice.
He's wearing a suit right now. He's clean shaven. He's washed up.
Wow.
Looks like a completely different person.
Mr. Imfe. Wow, I have to admit, I didn't recognize you coming in.
Sometimes I don't recognize myself when I look in the mirror, but, sometimes you just got to embrace who you got to be, right?
I suppose so. I can't say that I appreciate you coming without an appointment, so I hope that this is an extremely important matter that couldn't wait.
I would like to tie up some loose ends on a couple of things that I've been thinking about and sort of need in order to move on with my life. One of them being the discussion we had about my Pokémon and understanding the proper registration papers I need and the bills I might have to pay. There were some papers I needed to sign last time.
Yes, we never had that opportunity, so I wasn't sure if you were thinking on it or not.
Yeah, I was thinking on it. How long does it take to get those papers?
I can have my secretary prepare them for you, and you can have them signed before you leave today.
Can I take them with me just to read them over before giving any down payments?
Yes, of course, absolutely.
Wonderful. He's looking around the desk looking for the business cards.
Yeah, you'll see them.
He'll take one of the business cards and he pulls out a Sharpie and he turns the business card around and he writes 797 on the back of it. And he places the card in front of his desk with 797 upside down. And then he spins it around. Does this number mean anything to you?
He looks at it and then he turns it. I know that you spun it around for him, but he spins it around again because I guess he didn't fully understand what you were trying to show him. 797? He asks repeatedly. Yeah, he asks. He asks you, I guess, about 797, not necessarily that.
797 depends on how you look at it. Sometimes, you got to turn it around.
I can't say that 797 rings a bell for me.
And then he flips the card over and he scribbles out the letters and then he turns it upside down again. It's like, are you sure?
He sees LBL. Label? Libel?
Lobell?
I mean, those letters do appear in my name, so sure.
Do you know a Madame Vu? Is she a client of yours?
I can't say that name rings a bell, no.
Pretty unique name, so you either know it or you don't, right?
I don't recall ever meeting an individual by that name, no.
How well did you know Wade?
Now we're starting to get into some very uncomfortable questions, Mr. Mfei.
Just asking for a friend.
I never knew him well, if that's what you're asking. I hardly knew the gentleman.
Was he connected to your family?
At his table, he studies you up and down, and his knuckles start to grow a little white. And he says, is there a point to these particular questions, Mr. Mfei? Because I'm not necessarily liking where this discussion is going towards. I think we're getting into some very personal matters here, so I would select your next words very carefully. Especially if we're going to be doing business with each other.
I mean, no disrespect. I'm just trying to understand how your personal life is affecting me.
I assure you I do not let my personal life affect my work. Not for my clients.
All your clients are normal people?
He chuckles a little bit and says, I'm not really sure what you mean by normal.
He draws a ring on another business card. Looks like a hoop. It's like any ties to rings? Last question.
No. I don't know anything about rings.
So last question. Are you a good person?
I'm a Benoit. I'm a great person. We all are.
Thanks for your time, Benoit. It's sorry if I interrupted anything you were doing, and thank you for taking the time to hear me out, and I apologize if I stepped on any toes.
He will nod but not respond. And he will say, I'll inform my secretary to prepare those papers and documents for you if you'd like to look them over.
I'll look them over and I'll be back when I've made a decision.
He will nod and, let you on your way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So yeah, Cassie will send Molly a text asking if she's busy at the moment.
Yeah, she'll send back a text. Not busy. Spelled with a Z instead of an S.
Cool. Then fairly shortly after that, just like a minute or so passes. And then Cassie will start to call her.
Hey, Cass.
Hey, Moon, what's up?
Not much. What's up with you?
Not much, but recently I actually found a book that I found pretty interesting in regards to Johto. I thought maybe it could help us out as a group.
A book. That's great. So
I was thinking maybe sometime we could find a time to hang out and read it together.
well, Is there an audiobook?
I can be an audiobook.
Um, sure. I guess that works. So what's this book about?
All right. Just so we're not dancing around it, I may have it may have come to my attention that you're not the most proficient at reading, I suppose. Is that fair to say?
I can read, just very slow, and a lot of what I say is wrong, and I don't always understand what I read, but
And there's nothing wrong with that. If it's not too personal a question, how much education have you formally had?
being being transferred between different foster homes and different orphanages. Imagine each time having to go to a different school where they're probably learning something different each time. And sometimes you know, and sometimes you don't know what they're teaching. Eventually, I just stopped trying to understand and I just gave up.
I get it. In school, a lot of times, everything, they're building blocks. If you miss the foundation, how else are you supposed to climb up?
Yeah, that's basically how it went for me. And I never really had time to learn how to read, and I started to a little bit in prison, but it hasn't been easy.
I believe it. But yeah, this book is about basically just, sort of a field guide. It obviously might be outdated at this point, but if it could help at all with any sort of wilderness survival, given the civilization might not be promising out there, thought it might be worth looking into.
All right. Well, sure. That could help a lot, actually.
Cool, yeah. Then just keep in touch with me. We'll organize a time we can read it together. Um, promise I'll be patient. And maybe once we're back from Johto and we get all this stuff figured out, maybe you and I can go a little more in depth with all that. What do you think?
Well, sure. I've I never did well with learning, but I'll try my best. If we get through all this, then I'll try anything after that.
And to be fair, I've never really been a teacher, so we're both starting a little fresh.
Just try not to laugh at me.
I won't, I promise. Okay, so you let me know when you're good. I'll let you know when I'm good, and we'll figure that out. Cool?
Sure. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem. I'm going to go attend to some business, so have a good night.
All right. See you later.
And they hang up.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to do a quick scene with Molly, actually, considering how the talk with Cam went. Get another phone call. Hello.
Oh, I'm very popular today. Hello.
Hi. Do you mind if what do you have planned for your lunch break?
Right now, nothing. What's up?
Would you like to have lunch at the cafe? I just
Sure.
wanted to talk to you in person.
Sure. I'll go. I'll meet you there. So she'll go to the cafe.
When Molly gets there, Noah will sit down. Irish coffee?
Sure. Technically, I'm not supposed to drink during work hours, but it's my lunch break. I'm not technically working.
It's not that much alcohol. You
Yeah,
might need it.
Make it a mild one.
Finishes it down and then sits down herself with like a chamomile tea. And I'm going to tell you something that Cam told me in private. I don't want too many other people to notice. I just don't want someone else making this choice. But I would appreciate hearing your thoughts.
Okay.
Cam offered to be made an offer about the deal with Lord of the Underworld. He says his work with Stephen and the others is mostly finished. He says they don't really need him much longer, and he offered to sacrifice himself so Fabian could live. And Cam mentions he doesn't think it's a smart idea to use our sacrifice, the resurrection that we were given to save Fabian's life when the situation we're going in is so dangerous. The gods gave us a resurrection, then we're probably going to have to need it. Yeah.
How do you feel about all that?
I wish I could just do the easy option and have it be me, to be honest. But Fabian needs someone to look after him, and he's already had enough family leave him behind. And then I worry about Josho. What if in that vision, what if we don't all come back? And because the choice I made years ago, someone dies. Yeah, I know someone's life is going to die either way, but it doesn't really. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say.
It's always it's a very difficult thing. Like with Bullet, you know, when he was a baby, I remember he came down with a really bad fever. And I remember just walking with him to the doctor's office, just wishing, just hoping that somehow I could take his fever out of him and put it in myself instead. But you can't do that. You just have to watch it happen, and it never gets any easier, does it?
No.
I hope no sacrifices have to be made. I mean, I know I would do anything for Bullet. I would do anything for the Rays, and I would do anything for Alicia. I would do anything for any of you, also. The trick, though, is that we don't have to go that far, you know?
Yeah. But even if there's no sacrifice that is made, the other option is fighting a god. That could potentially more lives could be lost than this one. And damage and death itself being potentially gone. And if we give up the ability to resurrect someone, what if we go to Giotto and what if one of us is dying or one of the Rays are dying? If we don't have that ability, then it's just as good as sacrificing their life. Someone else's. This is why I'm approaching you. You have the most to lose in this.
I appreciate you coming to me with this. Right now I'm not sure what to tell you, honestly. But I remember what I told you before. You have people waiting for you. You have Fabian and you have Remy waiting for you.
I know.
I hope. I mean, I would certainly hate to see you sacrifice yourself.
I know I can't. It's just a choice of whether to challenge a god or to give up a res or to give up Cam. Well, I'm really giving up him and being all this.
Well,
I've done.
as we are right now, I don't think we can challenge a god. So
Yeah.
that knocks out one option right there. And personally, I also hope to save our resurrections. Just in case, you never know.
Yeah.
And you said Cam is willing. He's offered himself.
Yeah.
I told Dimitri on All Hallows Eve night. I told him there's no shame in accepting help if people are offering it. I know this is on a much different level. And I don't want to say it, but if Cam is offering, then maybe we should consider it. I hope you understand, though, that I'm not saying I want this to happen.
I know. It's good to get an opinion of someone who doesn't really it was a bit more objective, I guess.
We've all had to give up. I think we've all had to give up some things during this whole journey. And I hope we don't have to use those resurrection gifts. But we're accepting help from everyone. We're accepting help from the gods. We accepted Madison's help. Cam is offering help too. I hope we don't have to accept it, but
yeah, I'm just gonna pray that we don't.
Molly will reach out to Noir and just kind of squeeze her hand a little bit.
No, I'll squeeze back and say thank you.
I know it's not easy. None of this is easy.
Yeah. You think life is going to give you a break, but then, yeah.
I know what that's like.
You know it does. Thank you.
If
Well,
you ever need to talk, I'm always here.
okay. Thank you. Would you like an extra shot of the alcohol in that Irish coffee?
I'd better not. This one's good enough, I think.
Okay. Well, thank you. I'll leave you to your drink, and I better get back to work.
All right. Talk to you later, okay?
Talk to you later. Then Noah goes back to the customers, like acting as nothing happened. She didn't have like an awful, horrible conversation. Well, not awful, but like sad topic.
Yeah.
Chase will work his way towards the labs building.
Sure.
And walk up to the front counter, and he'll put his ID on the counter. I'm here to see Cassie.
Oh, I remember you, the lady at the front desk says. Yes, I'll go ahead and page her. Cassie, you have a visitor. Do you want me to just send him over with a visitor's pass?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. She will have you sign a few papers, Chase, and then she will have one of the employees escort you with your visitor's pass to Cassie's office.
Thank you.
And you will find yourself in Cassie's office.
Okay. Yeah, opens the door. Cassie.
Hey, Chase. Who'd you bullshit to get in here?
He holds up an ID. What are you talking about? I'm a registered person now.
Uh-huh. Well, take a seat.
Look at all the rights you guys have. I'm normal, don't you see? And he flicks his like suit lapels.
You do look surprisingly different.
He'll sit down.
I mean, all that getup, is that just for the sake of the ID, or?
It's who I am.
It's not who you were.
Everyone can decide to be whoever they want to be.
So you're acknowledging that you've chosen to change.
What's another persona?
How many have you gone through by this point?
15,
And currently you are?
16,
What's your name?
suits
Last name?
me well.
I should have figured. Well, welcome to my domain. What can I do for you?
And Chase does look around. He's like, well, in your domain, you have a lot of toys.
Yeah. I, pretty well off. Suits me well.
How many questions can you answer that don't seem to make sense in the rational world? I mean,
Is
you're a
that
person
related to my toys?
Could be. So he pulls out his Pokeball, the one with Lux in it, and he puts it on the table. Do you know how these work?
I assume Cassie would.
She would. She would.
Like the fans, none of the fans are entirely sure, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, none of the fans entirely sure.
But I'm assuming in this world she would know, like, yeah.
She would know and could give an explanation. I don't necessarily know what that explanation is, but she can give you an explanation on how they work
Then
and operate.
glancing at the ball, she'll nod and look back at him.
If you were to give me a one-sentence explanation of how this thing works, what would it be?
Well, I suppose it's... Actually, I think you touched on it when we went dimension hopping, didn't you?
I'm trying to validate that. You're the scientist.
No, I mean, yeah, I think that my best guess is that the Pokemon in the process are converted into energy that's then safely stored within the confines of the ball. I mean, the ball itself can change shape, so it's kind of just a matter of condensing it. And really, if it maintained any sort of physicality, hard to see how that would work.
So he taps the ball on the counter 3 times. He says, put me in there.
And the ball?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think humans can really go into these.
Why?
Well, I like to think that we kind of programmed them against that. Can you imagine the trafficking that would be involved with that sort of power?
But in theory, you could do something to this ball to put me in there. In theory, talking about hypotheses is easier.
In theory, yes. I think that I could do something. Would I, though? No.
And out of character, I'm going to say that Cassie believes that doing something like that is illegal.
Oh, yeah, of course. I agree.
Yes.
Hence
Yes.
pointing out trafficking.
Correct.
So, but if we're just talking in theory,
So in
Not the
theory,
shooting.
it's illegal for humans to be converted into energy and put into a Pokeball.
in theory, yes, I think
In
so.
theory, those legal rights don't apply to Pokemon. Any of them.
Well,
Any of them can be our
Theory.
prisoners.
yeah. Yeah, even legendaries can be captured.
So at what point do they become less than us? And at what point could they become more than us?
Well, that's kind of the odd thing, because if we're just looking at what Pokemon themselves are capable of, they're, well, you know, you've seen them. They can
I've
do
seen
feats that are impossible.
I've
But
seen one recently that is a little bit more than doing feats that are impossible. Could you put a legendary in there?
in the ball,
In the ball?
yes, I could.
Those are gods, though.
Yeah.
You're saying gods don't have the same rights as humans?
No, for whatever reason, whether it's a natural inborn subservience or some sort of weakness, no, we're it's what we've been able to pull off.
Well, as a scientific mind, would you say that the gods aren't gods at all?
I think it depends on how you want to define God.
What would your father say?
Why are you so curious about all this?
I'm wondering why you're trying to fill your father's shoes so hard.
I never said I was necessarily trying to fill his shoes.
Look at where you work. The things you're willing to do. Look at your attitude.
What about my attitude?
I think you hide pain, and I think that pain comes from losing your father too early.
Well,
So you
I
become
mean,
sarcastic and you become snarky, and you hide things from people.
fair enough. I can't say you're wrong. But what does this matter?
What was your father working on before he died?
He was working on a number of things, some of which were fairly controversial.
Did they have to do with legendaries? Gods? Arceus?
To my knowledge, his research did not have specifically to do with them. But could they tie into it? What can't? You know?
So you believe that, in theory, any one of us could be equal to one of the legendaries?
I believe in a way, Chase, that we're already better than them.
Why would you believe that?
Well, look at all the stuff you've pointed out. If we weren't, how could we possibly hope to capture one in a tiny sphere?
So science wins?
Maybe they've let us, for all we know. Because, given what they're capable of, do I think that they could have potentially stopped it? Do I think that, some of the first Celebi could have gone back and interrupted the first creation of the first Pokeball? Yeah, I think they could have if they really wanted to. I think knowing what Pokeballs are capable of now, what we as humans are capable of with the Pokeballs, I think that if they really had wanted to stop this chain of events, that they could have.
So that brings up the universal question of what came first.
And to this day, people still contest that. There is no answer as far as we're clear. Some people think Mew, some people think Arceus, some people think another being entirely.
I think the latter.
And honestly, now that we've experienced hopping of dimensions, who knows? Maybe something accidentally bled over here and that's what started it all. You know, maybe we're not as special as we once thought.
Maybe we don't have all the Pokemons identified.
Oh, hardly. New Pokemon are discovered all the time.
Or old ones are forgotten.
True. Relicanth, for instance. I'm sure Heatran by this point has just become a myth. You know, something to scare children. And then with the new Pokemon, we've, recently been discovering the Ultra Beasts, the existence of those. Deoxys appeared one day, and alien for, for all intents and purposes, but largely in the same way that the common Clefairy was. So, no, I absolutely think that there are more Pokemon out there.
Chase was looking around for a reflective surface.
I'm sure he'd find
And
one.
here, hopefully medium-sized. A window that's reflective. He'll walk up to it and he's like, Cassie, I've been thinking the last week and a half.
Dangerous.
It's taken up my waking hours, giving up sleep over this. I'm trying to put myself into a thinking haze so that I can bleed into, figuratively speaking, into the space in between. There's the dream world and there's the real world. There's the fade now. There's all these spaces in between, and he points back at the ball. All these dimensions. And his hands start to light up in flame. And as he's looking at his reflection, and he looks at Cassie, he looks back at the reflections, he says, do you think that's us? Do you know who you are?
I'm learning more about myself every day. Do I know who I am yet? No. Will I ever? Probably not. I can make educated guesses, but in the end, that's all they are.
See, I ask myself who I am, and I always respond with, I am. I am. And I don't have a name. Just I am. And so I am Eamon. So I am Ian. But when I look into the mirrors recently, the reflective surfaces around me, I can't help but think that everything's a lie, and that I have seen the truth. I have seen the Black City at the center of everything, and I've turned my back to it, and I've seen the possibilities of the end. I've seen the beginning and I've seen the end, the Alpha and the Omega. And in that line, all is one. And you can see his hands are starting to flame up even more as he's talking. And I've been asking myself, why the Black City? Why was I seeing a Black City before I saw that Black City in that other world and completely unrelated? I've always thought the Black City was just me. Something holding something in. But knowing that it's the center of something, knowing that I want to go back there, I want to enter the Black City. I don't want to enter it because I'm trying to take its power. I want to enter it because I believe that a flame can make the Black City gold again. And he smashes the reflective surface with his fist.
Okay.
She quietly
The window?
sighs.
The window.
Okay. You smash the window. That'll
And then-
come off of Cassie's paycheck.
It's concerned.
And then he looks at the broken window, and as he looks down at the blood on his hand, and you can hear him whisper, "No more blood. No more blood." And he looks back at the broken pieces. And he starts tracing the edges of one of the shards. And he looks at Cassie again. He's like, "Which one are you?" As she's reflected in a couple of the shards.
Which of the shards am I?
It's always a choice.
Then I choose to be all of them.
Identity is a funny thing. And when we're looking at a shattered world like the one we live in, where one world isn't just one world, where there's a spectrum of worlds, don't you ever get to think that maybe all are one?
In a manner of speaking, yes. We certainly all have an effect on each other. Without one thing happening, who's to say another ever would? And not being so much inclined to believe in the concept of free will, I think that only makes things even more solid in that area.